Today, I'll show you 5 shortcuts that I use in Reaper. Well, actually 6. Let's get into it. So it's been a while since I've made a Reaper specific video, and I figured since 2023 was coming to an end, I'd show you some of the favorite Reaper shortcuts that I've used this last year. These shortcuts are a combination of keyboard shortcuts, custom actions, and buttons. And although the video title says 5 shortcuts, if you stick around to the very end, I'm going to show you a 6th bonus shortcut. A quick note, for all these shortcuts to work, you should probably install the SWS extensions, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. Let's get into it. The first shortcut I'm going to show you is a custom action I created called fade in or fade out to the mouse cursor. Normally in Reaper, to add fades to an item, you have to hover your mouse over the upper edge of an item, left click, and drag. This is fine, but if you're doing a lot of fades in your editing, this can become repetitive and pretty tiresome. By using this shortcut, you can just hover your mouse where you want the fade to happen, click a keyboard button, and fade in or out to your heart's content. Now, there's 2 custom actions here, fade into cursor and fade out from cursor. Fade into cursor is used at the beginning of an item, and for that shortcut, I use the R key. Fade out from cursor is used at the end of an item, and for that shortcut, I use the T key. If you want to create these shortcuts for yourself, here's the custom action settings that I used for both of these shortcuts. A quick note, if you're just getting started with Reaper and you need help learning how to create custom keyboard shortcuts or custom actions, I'm going to leave some helpful links down below. The next shortcut I'm going to show you is a custom action called trim left or right and add fade to mouse cursor. This shortcut trims the item to the cursor, then adds a small fade. Normally in Reaper, to trim items, you have to hover your cursor over an edge of the item, left click, and drag. If you're doing this a lot, again, it can get repetitive and very tiresome. By using this shortcut, you can just hover your mouse where you want the trim and fade to happen, click a keyboard button, and as you can see, this works very fast. Just like the first tip I demonstrated, there's 2 custom actions here. Trim left and fade to mouse cursor, and trim right and fade from mouse cursor. Trim left and fade to mouse cursor is used at the beginning of an item, and for that shortcut, I use the D key. Trim right and fade from mouse cursor is used at the end of an item, and for that shortcut, I use the F key. If you want to create these shortcuts for yourself, here's the custom action settings that I used for both of these shortcuts. The next shortcut I'm going to show you is called Marquee Zoom. This shortcut enables you to quickly zoom into a specific selected area on an item or multiple items. In Reaper, there are so many different ways to zoom into tracks or items either horizontally or vertically. And if you're looking for a deep dive overview into some of these options, I would highly recommend my video, 100 Reaper Tips and Shortcuts. But if you're looking for a really quick and clever way to zoom into a very specific area, the Marquee Zoom option might be just what you're looking for. By using this shortcut, you hold down the Option key on the Mac or Control key on the PC and left click and drag the area you want to zoom in on. You can repeat this to continue zooming. To zoom back out, keep holding the Option or Control key and just left click. Now to create this shortcut, we need to adjust our mouse modifiers. To do this, open up the Preferences and scroll down to Editing Behavior, then choose Mouse Modifiers. And before we continue, I have my media item behavior set up slightly different than Reaper's default settings. In fact, I'm using what I call the Pro Tools Smart Tool settings, which you can review in this Shorts video that I made last year. Now, back to how I set up Marquee Zoom. Under Context, I'll choose Media Item. Double-click on Option and choose Marquee Zoom. Next, I'll change the context to left-click. Double-click on Option and choose Restore Previous Zoom. Next, under Context, I'll choose Media Item Bottom Half. Again, double-click on Option and choose Marquee Zoom. Next, I'll change the context to left-click. Double-click on Option and choose Restore Previous Zoom. Now, when I hold down the Option or Control key, I can Marquee Zoom into that area and quickly zoom back out. Okay, the next shortcut I'm going to show you is how to create and name folders very quickly. Now, normally in Reaper, if you want to nest your tracks within a folder, you have to create a new track, drag it above the tracks you want in the folder, hit this setting, then name the folder track. That's a lot of steps. But with this shortcut, you simply select the tracks you want in the folder, hit the keyboard shortcut, and it automatically creates a folder and gives you the option to name it much quicker. To create this shortcut, open the actions list and search Create Folder to contain selected tracks. After selecting this, add a shortcut. I use Command-Shift-F. And now you can quickly create and name folders for your tracks. Okay, the next shortcut I'm going to show you is how to create and name multiple tracks quickly. Now, Reaper has a default shortcut to create multiple tracks at once. In the actions list, it's called Track Insert Multiple New Tracks. This is great, but it limits the way you can quickly name the individual tracks. So I created a custom action to do this called Insert Multiple New Tracks and Name. To create this custom action, I used the following actions: Track Insert Multiple New Tracks, and this SWS action called Rename Selected Tracks. Then I assign the keyboard shortcut, Command-Shift-N. Now, when I hit the shortcut, I get an option to choose how many tracks I want to create. Then I'm able to rename each track individually without having to use any mouse clicks. Super convenient. All right, so at the beginning of the video, I told you that if you stuck around, there would be a bonus shortcut, and here it is. So last week, I made a video shooting out 3 LA2A style compressor plugins. In the video, I had to cycle through and solo each track to listen to each compressor. Now, normally in Reaper, to solo a track, you have to first select the track, click the solo button, and then if you want to solo another track, you have to unsolo the previous track first. Honestly, it's a pretty tedious process if you're wanting to do this quickly. So for my video, I was looking for a more streamlined way to do this. In the actions list, I found this shortcut, which is scripted by Me2Beats, called Auto Solo for Selected Tracks Defer. Now, this is a toggle shortcut, which means you can turn it on or off. So instead of creating a keyboard shortcut, I added this to my right-click menu on my track control panel and also created a button. So when I engage the action, I can cycle through each track and it will automatically solo the selected track while simultaneously unsoloing any other tracks. A super fast option if you're wanting to audition individual tracks quickly. All right, well, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure and give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the videos I put out. And speaking of videos, I'm going to be putting out a ton of content in 2024. So I look forward to seeing you all in this new year. Take care of yourselves. Peace out. We'll catch you next time.